the people incorrectly. You know, we have them actually calling the Gentiles Esau and calling them Edomites, and that's not according to Scripture. And what I wanted us to do is actually go into the Scriptures and read a couple of things dealing with that, showing you the difference of the Esau, which are the Edomites, and showing the difference who the Gentiles are. Where I want to actually start is going to Genesis chapter 10, and what we're going to go into, we're going to read Genesis chapter 10, and we're going to deal with verse 1 through 5. Like I said, and just dealing with, you know, the situations that's going out there on the streets right now. And, you know, I realize, and I think that this is something that all of us really should probably, you know, get into, as far as watching some of those videos with those other congregations and see what they're dealing with. At the end of the day, we have to see what they're dealing with, because there's scriptures, there's truth within the Bible that's going to show you that they're not speaking the truth, you know, and whoever is teaching them, they're being misled. And at the end of the day, for them being misled, they're also talking to and showing hate unto the Euro Gentiles out there on the streets. And seriously, I said, when you guys get a chance, sometimes go on YouTube and watch a couple of those videos and see what they're dealing with. And actually, it helps you, because by you watching them, you can actually go into the scriptures and see certain things. Certain things will come to your memory, and you can go into the scriptures and realize that they know what they're speaking is not true, and it actually helps you also by learning. You know. So like I said, what we're going to do today is go into Genesis chapter 10, and we're going to read from verse 1 through 5. But what I wanted to speak on first, excuse me, y'all. I was watching one of the videos. I wanted to speak about one of the videos. I was watching one of the videos, and there was some Gentiles actually that was coming up to. It was like three young Gentiles, and you know, a couple of young brothers. The main thing what usually all of them do is they know who they are as a people, and they know who they are as a people, Hebrew Israelites. But then you have these young Gentiles that came up to them, and they wanted to know what they were talking about. But the thing about it is, they weren't entreating them to the fact of them trying to teach them. They were actually beating them with the word, you know, to the fact that it was showing, you know, like, you know, hate towards the Gentiles. And that's not how we're supposed to deal with the word. That's not how we're supposed to deal with people with the word. At the end of the day, we have the word where, excuse me, y'all. Yeah. Excuse me, y'all. Yeah. And like I said, and watching the video, we have the Gentiles, and they, like I said, if when you dealing with people, you have to, you want to give them the understanding, so they can take on to the word and show that, you know, this is the truth for them to get an understanding of. And by them teaching the way how they were teaching on the streets, the Hebrew Israelites, the other congregations, they weren't doing that. They at the end of the day, you know, it's not for us to show hate. And I realize, it's an agenda. you see certain things that's going on out there with these cops out there killing our folks out there, and that hate crime, you know, is not just being out there in the communities, but we also have it now to where this race war, this agenda, hate is being brought in now into our culture, where you have that separation from the truth, and you have the separation from them learning the truth by who's gonna want to deal with us when they have brothers out there dealing with them like that. So it makes that distance from Yahweh for them to get closer unto Yahweh by them preaching or teaching the way they do. So, like I said, what I wanted to do is just kind of show the difference of the Gentiles, show the difference who Esau is as a people. And we can go ahead and start in Genesis chapter 10 and verse 1 through 5.
Genesis 10, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Mediah, Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togabah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kiddon, and Donian. By these were the isles of the Gentiles, divided in their land, every one after his tongue, after their families in their nations.
In verse 5, it says, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families in their nations. Now, when you read the names that we just read, we have, you know, the Germans, we have Spain, we have Greece. Now, when you look up, and this information is actually online, you can go and research. When you look up the name in verse 2, Medii, it's actually a name for the Medes, which are the Russians. Now, you have Turkey. Now, all these names that we have right here are the sons of Japheth, which made up the Gentiles, the people, the Gentiles. And this is one of the sons of Noah. And the reason why I wanted to touch on this right here is because, you know, these three sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, they populated the whole earth. Now, this is before Esau even came in the picture. And when you read further down, we're going to see where Esau comes from. All right, so what I wanted to do is, I can go to Genesis chapter 25, and we're going to start from verse 19. Now, that's Genesis chapter 25, and we're going to read verse 19 to verse 30. And this is in the beginning. That's what kind of, you know, watching the videos and seeing what these other congregations is dealing with, it kind of throws it, you know, are they not reading? You know, that's why I say, yo, it has to be part of their agenda for this race war, because there's information that's within the Bible that we've received, praise Yah. And how is it that it's not being taught? And it's right here within the scriptures. All right, so we're going to go to Genesis chapter 25 and read verse 19 through 30.
And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Panaramon, the sister of Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren. And Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh.
Now, can you imagine? She's never had a child before, and now she has two kids in her, and they're struggling within her. So, I mean, consider that. She never had kids before. She has two infants within her, and they're struggling. And who wouldn't want to go to Yahweh and actually, pray and ask, what's going on? All right, go ahead, my brother.
Genesis 25, verse 23. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they call his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bore them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison. But Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
That's how you received that name, Edom, and became the Edomites. Now, the reason why, again, I wanted to deal with this scripture here is that shows you the difference of the Gentiles and Esau. But Esau himself is from Abraham. From Esaac, excuse me, who is in the lineage of is a Hebrew. Now, yeah, Esau is not an Israelite, yet still he's a Hebrew. He is a brother. So, my thing is, if you have the information here that's within the Bible, and yet still you calling the Gentiles by this name here, it doesn't add up at all. How is it that you can, we know that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they came from Shem. If you even go into Luke and you read Luke chapter 3, it actually gives the breakdown of Yeshua's lineage. But it's actually dealing with the tribe of Yehuda. But once you go further down, like I said, in Luke chapter 3, it speaks of that lineage, and it deals again, and it comes back and goes into Shem. It goes into Noah, and it goes back into what Genesis is dealing with when you go to Luke chapter 3. So just goes to show you that Esau is still Hebrew, is still our brothers. They're not Gentiles. But you have this, like I say, you do have congregations out there that's, and it's happening a lot over different areas where they have their congregations set up. They're on the streets and they're dealing with people, especially, and we know what it talks about. It talks about the Gentiles being engrafted and how they have the rights to walk in the ways of Yah. It's written. It's several scriptures that's written in the scriptures in the Bible, and what I want you guys to go to is go to Deuteronomy chapter 23. And there's this one particular verse that I wanted to read. And that's Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 7.
Deuteronomy 23 and verse 7. You shall not abhor an Edomite, for he is your brother. You shall not abhor an Egyptian, because they was a stranger in his land.
And that's, abhor is to hate. And when you read Deuteronomy 23, it gets into, you know, like the moral laws and stuff like that, man. And, you know, reading that right there alone, it says that we're not even supposed to hate our brother. You know, and it's something that I see a lot, and that's why I wanted, you know, to deal with it a little bit, because, you know, this is going to be something where we're going to have to deal with. Because even you have, when you mention to some people that you're an Hebrew Israelite, you know, some people's faces start to you know, to screw, to start being made up. You know, like, oh wow, you're like, we're affiliated, and we have no affiliation with those people out there that's you know, teaching the way how they teaching. We have no affiliation with that. So, but that's the thing though, they see them more out there, so they're gonna actually lump us all in together, like we're all dealing with the same with the same teachings, and that's not true. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Acts. We're gonna read Acts. It's chapter 9. Acts chapter 9, and we're going to read from verse 1 through 16. And, you know, like I said, yo, it seems like there is an agenda. And that agenda is not just out there in the communities, right? It's dealing with now in our culture, in the Hebrew Israelite culture. And it's not just against us, and it's not just making us look bad. It's also making Yahweh look bad. You know, this is not how, like, again, you know, this is not how the word is supposed to be taught to people. And then again, they're not even telling, they don't know the truth. So basically, yo, what they're speaking is not according to scripture. It's a lie. All right, so we're going to read Acts chapter 9, and it's first verse 1 through 16.
Acts 9, verse 1. And Saul, yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Master, went unto the high priest, and desired of him letters to Damascus, to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined around about him a light from heaven. And he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Master? And the Master said, I am Yeshua, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And he trembled, and astonished said, Master, what wilt thou have me to do? And the Master said unto him, Arise, and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. And Saul arose from the earth, and when his eyes were opened, he saw no man, but they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. And he was 3 days without sight, and neither did eat nor drink. And there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias, and to him said the master in a vision, Ananias, and said, Behold, I am here, master. And the master said unto him, Arise, and go into the street, which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas, for one called Saul of Tarsus. For behold, he prayeth, and had seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in and putting his hand on him, that he might receive his sight. Then Ananias answered, Master, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he hath done to thy saints in Jerusalem.
Now, at that time, Saul, even though he knew about the law and the scriptures, he still didn't have a full understanding of how, truly he was supposed to go about, dealing with the word, and that's the same thing with, I see with a lot of people out there. When it comes down to, dealing with the word, they don't have, it seems like they don't have a proper teacher, a good head priest, because the things that they're doing also, they're persecuting the people out there. And like I said before, this is not how the word is supposed to be entreated. It says, and we read it every Sabbath. For any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which Elohim gives. And what they're speaking is not according to what Elohim has put forth in his Bible. Go ahead, my brother.
Acts 9, verse 14. And here he hath authority from the chief priest to bind all that call on thy name. But the master said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles, and kings, and the children of Israel. For I will show him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake.
And, even Saul himself was sent unto the Gentiles. And, we see even right there that even the Gentiles have a chance. I mean, at the end of the day, we as a chosen nation, the children of Israel, we do have the authority to teach the laws. We do have that adoption. So, but yet still, they, as far as the Gentiles, they can be engrafted in, but they have to follow what's written in the Bible. They have to come in by us. But like I say, the agenda that's out there that I've been seeing for what they've been teaching, that's not according to Scripture. And what I just wanted us to go through, several things just to deal with that fact, because we're gonna have situations that's gonna come up, as well, where we're gonna have to know what need to be said, because the truth is within the Bible. But yet still, if we don't read it, or if we don't conversate with people to have our minds worked to the point where we can say, okay, well, if you don't know, then fine, then this is information that we do need to know. Because, like I say, yo, we have people out there that's dealing with that. And when time comes, those are the kind of people that we're going to have to be going against, especially us brothers. You know, so we have to be ready for when that time comes. Because what they teaching and what we know, there's a difference. So we're going to have to be ready to show what we know according to Scripture versus what they think they know. So, you know, like I said, it's short and sweet. Praise Yah. You know, that's all I wanted to do. You know, I know we had a long day earlier. You know, so praise Yah for allowing us to come together once again. But like I said before, you know, sometimes look at the videos and see what these other congregations is dealing with, because at the end of the day, it can help you. If you see something that you know that's not right, you as well find it in the scriptures. Then you know where it is again. And if you meet somebody, get up into a talk or a situation with someone, you know where to go. You know, so it's not something where, you know, it also help you. And that's what I wanted us, you know, I wanted y'all to understand, that, yo, watching them videos or going out there dealing with people, it helps. All right? All right, dog. All right, shalom.
Shalom.